All right. Good rising and great awakening. And we are here for Sankofa step number 5. Thank you for joining me. We're listening to an instrumental version of Egyptian blues. This was actually the second song that I wrote as an adult back in the year 1986. It looked like it was only yesterday. So we're here for the KemeTones self-care webinar series, and our focus for the past couple of weeks or months has been the Sankofa steps for post-traumatic slave syndrome, for healing post-traumatic slave syndrome. And today we are, oh, there goes the animation again. Using sound to eliminate obstacles, open the way to freedom. That is what's on the screen right now. Yeah, so this week we are covering Sankofa step number 5 from the work by Dr. Joy DeGruy. And the step for this week is build esteem, healthy and accurate. I remember when we're doing this self-care work, we're doing it for ourselves, our family, our community, our nation, and the entire planet. And our focus is on healing from the lasting effects of slavery. Our guide is the study guide by Dr. Joy DeGruy on post-traumatic slave syndrome. And she's done an amazing job presenting this information to the world. Not everyone believes in it, but I certainly see the benefits of healing all the illnesses and issues that are facing our community right now, such as poverty, poor health, lack of health care, institutionalization instead of education, self-hatred. There's so many symptoms from slavery that we're dealing with, and mostly we're dealing with them one at a time, like cancer or diabetes or high blood pressure or stress or economics or religion, And Dr. Joy is stating that all of these things are simply the effects of slavery. Let's go straight to the root and stop dealing with the symptoms. Let's deal with the cause, not the effects. And I totally agree with this. So in her work, she has the 10 Sankofa steps for self-care as well as caring for others. And we've gone over steps 1 through 4. We also had the introduction to the series where we went over all 10 steps. And in these past weeks, we've been breaking down the healing protocol for each step. And I have to tell you, I've been taking myself through this healing process, and I'm definitely feeling the effects. I'm really interested in seeing what is going on with the stars today. I have not been keeping up with it daily, and today I completely felt it, and we're going to talk about that in a moment. Who am I? I am Tachia Ahmet El-Ma'at. SE stands for self-educated. And I am a musician, healer, astronomer, astrologer, sound healer, coach, farmer, and landlord, woo, and mother, and lots more. Those are just some of my jobs and titles. I'm someone who is very fascinated with the indigenous culture, with the astronomy, the celestial culture of Kemet and indigenous people around the world, because that is pretty much how I identify myself. And so that is where my passion is, and also sharing the information with others. We used to do a lot more work on cultural astronomy, and since I've gotten into healing with the celestial cosmic forces, you know, I'm just kind of getting more familiar with this. And I will get back to consistent celestial pulse very soon. KemeTones is a sound healing process that uses acutonics tuning forks. Each tuning fork is tuned to a different planetary vibration based on Kepler's calculations, and we know that Kepler studied in ancient Kemet. So all of his work he was able to complete because of his studies with his master teachers. They don't get credit. But anyway, each tuning fork is tuned to a different cosmic frequency, and each planet is also corresponding to a different ancestral archetype from Kemet, like the Neteru or the Yoruba tradition, the Orisha, and different indigenous nations have their own correspondences to these planets. So that's how KemeTones differs from acutonics. Acutonics goes just to the Greek culture and doesn't really consider anything beyond that. Every KemeTones treatment begins with a horoscope, which is a 13-month sidereal Kemetic astrology system, and we are going to jump right into that. The astrology system that you're familiar with is based on the motions of the planets around the sun. It is not based on the motions of the sun and the planets through the constellations. Every indigenous astrology system has 13 months based on the movements of the moon. If the moon has 13 months, why doesn't the sun? And in fact, the sun does have 13 months. The 13th constellation is called Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is the only constellation that represents the life of an actual human being, and that human being is Imhotep, the father of ancient medicine, the father of medicine, not Hippocratic, whatever. And yeah, so we use this system in our sound healing, not the 12-month system. And that's another way this system differs from acutonics. Okay, so here is the chart for today. Like I said earlier, this day has been phenomenal for me. Every emotion that can be experienced was experienced in a period of 4 or 5 hours. And I got a headache from all the stress. I wasn't drinking enough water. I didn't start the day off with my meditations. I didn't do my chanting at midday. I just threw all that out the window. And this is the first time that I've actually calmed down and I'm in the healing space. I'm going to do some self-care on myself. So I'm looking forward to this. But I just, this chart is amazing. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if there's any comments or questions. Not yet. Okay. Yeah. This chart is based on the 13-month astrology system, astrology13.com. And it shows that Ra, or the sun, has moved into the sign of Apis, which is the bull, or Taurus. And this is, it looks to me to be directly opposite of Mars, or Set, which is in the sign of Scorpio, Tamut Amun. Now that to me looks really scary just off the bat. And when you look at some of the other symmetry, it's very interesting. As I commented earlier, to me, this day felt like a collision, and looking at this chart, I can see why. And then over here we have the moon in Virgo. And the other planets haven't really changed, so I'm not going to go over them. Today we're going to be focusing on Ra, Set, and Shasheta. Shasheta is the goddess associated with the moon at horoscopes, and she's the goddess of architecture, astrology, astronomy, mathematics, sacred geometry, accounting, bookkeeping, filing, keeping things in order, and her main drive is conquering APEP, or chaos. And you'll see how that's very important in the next moment. So we're going to go through the horoscopes, and then we're going to move on to the self-care session, healing from PTSD. Okay? So just bear with me. Like I said, I don't usually prepare for these. I don't know how they're going to come out. This is a self-care session for myself. This is what I do when I'm able to make the time. And it's what I suggest that you do. Even if you don't have the tuning forks, you can use the acupressure. Just apply pressure to the point or the meridian. Or you could use crystals or stones. You could use sound. You could use visualization. Whatever. You could use Reiki. Whatever is your modality, you can apply the same principles, because we're just dealing with the chakras, meridians, extraordinary vessels, a few points. We're going to do 3 treasures, things like that. So even if you don't have the tuning forks, but I, of course, encourage you to get your own set of the self-care tuning forks, or go through the training to get the professional kit, and then you can start sharing this information with your clients, your family, and your community. Okay, so here's the chart, and I may swing back here from time to time. So this is the the glyph or the representation for Ra. Ra is the god of the sun, the god of creativity. And when we say God in the Kemetic tradition or the Natarian tradition, a god or a goddess is a cosmic force. And each cosmic force represents a different principle in creation. Ra is the creative principle. Ra is, according to these traditions, Ra is the one who created everything that we see, which is actually an illusion. But anyway, Ra is the source of creation. It's our creativity within us. This cosmic force is within us. It's not just this image of a deity. It's not just the sun in the sky. It's a cosmic force that lives in us, and we can awaken this cosmic force. Like when it's time to be creative, you could do a chant to Ra or something like that. Speaking of that, I think I will do some invoking while I'm discussing these different cosmic forces. I have my drum. I have my cis drum. Let's see, I'll put it on the screen. All right. So this is a cis drum. I'll turn it this way so you can see it. And it represents the asar. It represents the spine of the asar, you know, the steadfast, standing up straight. And these represent the 4 higher chakras. And you are asar. It's not just our ancestor, but we represent asar. When we're reading the scriptures, anytime we read asar, it's referring to our journey, our spiritual journey. So I'm going to sing a chant to Ra. And this is a part of the KemeTones devotional. Oh, got some strange red on. Devotional worship. Juara, 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 Kepra. Juara, 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 Kepra. Juara, 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 Kepra. Juara, 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 Kepra. Adorations to Ra, adorations to Ra, adorations to Ra in the form of the Creator. And those are usually call and response. I forgot to leave the lyric. What's the lyric? So right now, Ra is in the sign of Taurus, Apis, the bull. And in the Hindu tradition, here's a bull, and normally you see a deity seated on a bull, and that represents, in the Hindu tradition, by the way, Hindu and India are descendants from Kush, which means the land of the black. The word India means black. Hindu means son of Kush. So anytime we're dealing with the Indian tradition or the Vedic tradition or Vedic astrology or even Chinese astrology, Chinese medicine, all of those are descendants of the origin of our culture in Kemet or Africa, Uganda, Ethiopia, Sudan, that whole region. Okay, so when you see a deity sitting on a bull, that means, you know, achieving abundance or coming into wealth or coming into health, coming into abundance. So you know, when we do meditation, we're going to, later on, we're going to visualize, you know, have us with that visualization. Because we are Ra coming into Apis, onto our abundance, and we're using our creativity to create this abundance. And here is the Kemetic version of the bull, Apis, from the hieroglyphs. So right now we're feeling the vibration of the sun, moving into this vibrant, vital, abundant, prosperous, green, lush, loving time. And that's, you know, what we're feeling. We're feeling like we're coming into our own. We're feeling our power. We're feeling grounded, you know, secure and confident. Confident means putting our trust in the divine. And then on the total opposite end, we have Set in Scorpio, which is Set in Ip, excuse me. Do a Set. Ooh, there's a typo there. Let me see if I can. fix that. Not sure. Set. And Set is, of course, the net-to-do of egoism and selfishness. And Set is the cosmic force that, well, first of all, murdered his brother Asar because he wanted to be king, and then, and forced his nephew Heru to fight Set for the throne. And we have to remember there's 3 levels to these myths. There's the story myth. There's the there's the historical facts that these things happen, and then there's the mystical side, which is how it relates to us. So we have ritual, we have the legend, and then we have how these forces are showing up in our lives and in the lives of our nation. Because it's not just happening to us, it's happening to the whole planet. So right now we have Mars and Sidereal Scorpio, Dua Set If. And normally Set is causing chaos. That's our ego. Our ego is like freaking us out, like me today. I was totally freaking out. I completely lost it several times. And I forgot to do my sound healing this morning. I forgot to do my chanting because I was dealing with some pretty heavy stuff. But it's always possible to defeat APEP. It's always possible to eliminate chaos just by shifting our energy. And we have lots of ways to raise our vibration. But when we're in the moment, we forget. And like me, my ego, I didn't want to reach out for help because I've already, bothered my friends a bunch of times, and I don't want to seem like a weakling. But that usually helps, talking to someone. So rather than focusing on Set creating chaos, and that's what I was referring to earlier about a collision, because we have, Mars, which is our driving force, our passion, our desire, our focus, our drive, our willpower. What we want to do is in the most egoistic sign of the sky, and is opposite of our creative nature in harmony, balance, beauty, and abundance and vitality. So I completely felt this collision this morning, and I have, I'm happy to say that it resulted in something positive. Let me see how much time we have here. Yeah, I'm going to share a little bit about it. I don't know if you've been following my legal battles for the property that I inherited from my mother. Well, the insurance company gave me the check, but they made it out in the name of my mother and the mortgage company, but I paid the mortgage off in 2012. So they said I needed a copy of the document, which I couldn't find. I called the mortgage company. They say they didn't know my parents were dead, and I'm not authorized to talk about the account. So this morning I was like freaking out trying to find out this information. And then later on, my attorney says she called the tax office and found out that my parents and my grandparents didn't claim some sort of homesteader's redemption or exemption. And so now I'm entitled to 50 years of back taxes discounts. And so, it was just the most crazy, stressed out day, but fortunately, somebody found something that's, now I can see myself riding in this bull into the courtroom and just telling everybody to, I don't know what the expression is in Kemet. In Jamaica, they say, blouse and skirts. Yes. So I'm a little excited, and you have to bear with me. And seeing how we can apply this to our situation is what these sessions are about. So tonight we're going to be dealing mostly with the Sun fork, Venus, Taurus, and Mars. And then also for the Moon, we're dealing with the Moon in the sign of Aspolia. That's Shasheta Aspolia. Planting seeds of good fortune, building a better tomorrow, Moon in Sidereal Virgo. And here I have a hieroglyph with Ra and Shasheta. So I thought that was really important to share tonight. So, I don't have a song for Set. I'm going to work on that, because there's a very positive aspect to Set, going back to this diagram here, because after he goes through these battles and conquers his own ego, he is quoted as being the most powerful deity of all because he was able to defeat to conquer his ego. And so he's seated at the front of the boat, of Ra. Ra's boat that travels every day for eternity. And he is here harpooning Apep, harpooning chaos. So we have Set destroying chaos, and then we have Shasheta, whose her favorite hobby, I think, is conquering chaos. So I feel really good about this, and that's the information we're going to be using in our session tonight. And then also, I wanted to remind you that Mercury is retrograde until May 22nd. So we have approximately 5 more days for the portal of Jehuti to remain open. And this does not mean, you know, death and destruction and new computers blowing up and things like that. It means that there's an opening for an up-leveling in communication and mobility, all those things. And I forgot to mention that this morning there was a car wreck out front of my house. Talk about a collision. And there's a funeral today for an elder of the community because a few days ago he took his own life. This is someone who was the tribal council leader for 12 years. I'm honoring him right now, Kenny Wright. I have some water here. I'm about to pour it on my plant. In honor of Kenny Wright and having his ceremony right now, and I didn't go because I'm here with you all, and I was just feeling so terrible. But he took his life 10 years to the day that his son took his life, 10 years ago, in the same spot. So something is going on here. This PTSS, it's not just for Africans who survived slavery, it's for Native Americans who survived forced relocation. And so the vision is grand. You know, I'm going to be meeting with them soon to start these workshops here on the Round Valley Indian Reservation, but things keep coming up in my own life, and I haven't been able to. So, there we go. So, we're going to Sankofa step number 5, building esteem, healthy and accurate. And this is based on the writings of Dr. Joy DeGruy from Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing by Dr. Joy DeGruy, PhD. This is from the study guide. And the Sankofa symbol is the bird there with an egg. She's hatched an egg, and then she's feeding it to herself. So it's the idea is it's okay to go back and fetch the stories from our past, from our legacy, from our history, so we can learn from them. It's not healthy to just forget about it or act like these things didn't happen or are not happening, but we can learn from them. Even though it's painful and sad, we can still learn to process the emotions. These leftover, lingering emotions that we don't deal with is what leads to illnesses like cancer, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. It's not just diet. It's not just environment. It's leftover grief and sadness and trauma that's trapped in our wombs. It's trapped in our DNA. It's trapped in our blood cells. And it's trapped in our physical reality because of the, you know, the legacy of slavery where we were considered less than human, yada, yada, yada. Okay. And I already talked about what KemeTones is. We're using sounds that are tuned to the planetary frequencies, and then these in turn are corresponding to different Neteru or cosmic forces of the universe that live within us. So now we're going to talk about applications. So the quote by Dr. Joy is, healthy esteem is a reflection of what you have contributed and the awareness of your contribution. So that's what we're going to be reflecting on during the rest of this program, and especially during the meditation. Healthy esteem is a reflection of what you have contributed and the awareness of your contribution. So before we get to the reflection and the questions, we're going to go through the healing protocol that we're building through this series. And my website is still down, ironically, right in time for the Mercury retrograde. My website is 404. Not all the pages, but the pages that we need for the webinar are down. And I'm sure it's going to be resolved eventually. Okay, so the meridians that are connected to post-traumatic slave syndrome are, remember we have freeze, fight, and flee. And the freeze one is related to rage and terror. And these emotions get trapped in our bladder and kidney meridians because these are the ones that are connected to water, and these vibrations get stored in the water. And that's why KemeTones is so effective, because it can realign the molecular structure of the water in our body and the energy flowing in our body. But for tonight, we are not going to use this meridian. We did that another time. The gift of dissociation. This one, it says, it stops energy from coming through when there is a risk of burning our mind to the ground. This is the flight. This is when we detach, we're in denial, we act like it's not happening, you know, turn on the television, get some junk food, and watch 12 hours of your favorite show or whatever. And this is the one I think we're working on tonight, the heart meridians and the governor vessel meridians. And then the third meridian, well, that is flee, okay? And then this one is fight, finding safety, soothe, stuck fight responses. The liver and gallbladder meridians make the fight response to help us see new possibilities. And I see another typo. Let me just make this correct. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, this one is for fight, the liver and gallbladder meridians. And so we're going to work on the gift of dissociation tonight. And then for build esteem, healthy and accurate, as I said before, the tuning forks we're working with are Ra, Heru, and Mars. For self-esteem, the third chakra, that's our willpower. And we're also going to deal with Chiron, Nut, the full moon fork, and Ta'ert. For Nut, that will be the zodiac fork. And then step 5, the 3 treasures. And then we always said the meridians, dissociation, flight, and the extraordinary vessels, Chang, Yin, Wei. So we're going to get through all of that in about 30 minutes, right? Okay, so I'm going to move over to the other part of this video, and prepare for the self-care healing session that I am so looking forward to. It's been very stressful. I mean, the previous weeks, you know, it was about having the courage to stand up for myself, and, you know, I had a lot of practice with that at the courtroom, and maybe it got a little too powerful. But I definitely see some improvements. Let's see what's next here. Okay. All right. So we're going to switch to the camera. Keep it here next to the guide. And I think I'm going to do another chant, one of my favorite healing chants, because today is, as you can see, I still haven't gotten my computer fixed. I'm still getting these weird button issues. Okay. So I would like to bring in Sekhmet, because Tuesdays are Sekhmet days. And let's see, bear with me. Okay, yeah, so I have another chant for Sekhmet I like to do. It just honors her, recognizes her as our great teacher. She's a very powerful teacher and warrior healer. Okay. Sa Sekhmet Seru, 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 Sa Sekhmet Seru. Yes, I'm learning a lot from Sekhmet, when to, bring on the fire and then when to pull back and return to Het Heru. That's my thing, because I get stuck in there. I'm a Leo, the Western system, so I don't know my own strength. I usually get carried away. All right. So I'm going to start with, I don't have all these tricks out. I always start with grounding. Where are you? Oh, here you are. Already there. Didn't make it hard enough. Okay. Alright, so I have the Om forks or Geb for grounding. Enables. And then my roots, my womb root chakra area, grounding. Okay, let's see if I get it. Oh, I know, I can put this back. Yeah, I was burning sage earlier, and that really shifts the energy. I didn't think of that earlier. I don't know why. Okay. Ooh, heart chakra. Feel better already. Normally, you wait until the vibrating stops. But for some reason, I'm like rushing. Okay. So I'm just going to dive right in with Ra and Het Heru. Ra and Apis. We are co-creators of our universe. We walk the beauty path. See gifts in adversity, beauty in all things. Removing all blocks to the beauty path. Removing blocks to creating the beauty path. I'm also going to use Ka Earth, creating abundance, manifesting prosperity, protection, strength, vitality, illuminating the way to manifest with no obstacles. Illuminating the way to our sovereignty and our abundance, our affluence. My course says affluence is achieving abundance with effortlessness, with grace and ease. That's our definition of affluence. And then we also have Mars to deal with. So, grounded, Geb, and Set, right? Maybe he'll listen to his dad, huh? I mean, Set and Geb, not Ron yet. Set and Geb. Now, keep in mind that even though I'm doing this for myself, I'm also conscious of my family that's going through these changes, my community, like what's going on here in the rally, my nation. Creating high self-esteem, healthy and accurate. That's the goal. How do we manifest that? All right, so there's the 2 treasures. Now I'm going to work on the 3rd chakra. So we have Sun and Mars. They're like complete opposites. Let's see what we can open up here right now. It's accurate. Self-esteem is accurate, then whatever comes out of my mouth is, I can trust it as truth. I'm speaking for the divine, not just my ego, right? That's the idea. When we're standing up for our justice, things like that. And we also mentioned Chiron and Nut for Antu. I'm going to release obstacles to our healthy self-esteem. I'm going to release any blockages so that we can manifest. And express. Okay. Okay. And then even to have the courage and strength to ride the bull of abundance and prosperity. You know, like all these obstacles where people are literally trying to steal the building from me, and just ride into the courtroom with confidence, and, no fears of the abundance that might be coming my way. That is kind of scary. Tax exemptions from 50 years from my grandparents and my parents. And then also the fact that the mortgage company did not report to the county clerk when I paid off the mortgage. All these things are really exciting from the legal standpoint. Imagine if something like that happened with our nation. That would be something. I don't know what it's called, but that's what I'm manifesting. This can happen to me. It can happen to our entire nation, right? Okay. Then the meridians. Let's go back to that chart for dissociation. The heart meridian and the governing vessel. Okay. Well, let's deal with the heart. Okay, so that's along the inside of the arm. And remember, even though you only have one arm, you want to do both meridians for balance. So I want a strong, healthy, vibrant heart. So I'm going to go with this, heart and head. Now, what am I going to do? Am I going to go up my arm? I've never tried this before. I don't know if it's possible. Yeah, I don't think that's actually physically possible. So maybe up here I can, but not my fingers. Well, you know what? I'm just going to do the celestial. Oh no, that's on the wrong side. Okay, well I'll just I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. We're developing something new here. You can't just use one fork. I guess I'll put one on my heart, and then I'll move this fork along the inside of my arm. That's why it's really good to have your own practitioner. And that's why I'm glad that there's other people that are trained in KemeTones so they can give me a treatment next time I'm in their presence. This is not the business, but it's something. Again, it's the awareness and the effort. And I will figure out another way to give myself a heart meridian treatment. I certainly can't do the governing vessel meridian, because that's up my back. So let's see. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do for now. I have to look that up some more. I've never I don't remember having that problem. Okay. And then, okay, the extraordinary vessels, the Chang Wei, the Chang and the Yin Wei. And those are the ones that we chose for post-traumatic slave syndrome, post-traumatic stress disorder based on the descriptions. We chose Chang, Yin Wei, and Yang Wei. And perhaps in the future we'll re-examine those and see if there's some other ones. But based on what we've known about these extraordinary vessels, these are the ones that most relate to the situation. Okay? So we're going to do the Chang Wei and the Yin Wei. And again, even if you don't have the tuning fork, you can apply acupressure, you can apply raw Reiki, you can put crystals, you can use visualization, you can use toning or chanting. I really like the tuning fork because they're accurate, like she's asking, healthy and accurate, because it's pinpoint precision. Okay, so these are the Chang meridians. It's a point on the foot and then on the hand, and then it covers the energy flow around the waist, the girdle area. It goes around. The other one, the Dai Wei, it goes around. The Dai Mai, it goes around like a belt. But the Chang goes like front to back. Okay, so I'm going to be applying the tuning fork to those spots on the foot by the toes and on the back of the hand. And you can look up these points at any Chinese medicine book or website. Acupuncturists don't use these points very much because they're energetic. They don't apply to a particular organ, but they apply to the flow of energy. It's like a figure 8 flow of energy. And if there's a break in the flow of energy, then that's when we have these symptoms of imbalance. And so these extraordinary vessels reconnect that flow. So again, we're working with Ra, Mars, Heteru. I didn't do anything for Aspholia. So let me do something with that. The moon and Aspholia. If I can find that quickly. I still haven't really unpacked from my trip to Chicago, so everything is a little discombobulated. Oh, there we go. No, that's not it. I'm looking at the wrong place. Let's see, where are you looking at? All right. New Moon and Mercury. So we're going to be doing this, focusing on building a healthy relationship with our higher self. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Building a healthy relationship with our higher self so we can conquer apex, chaos, and get our egos under control. So with the Chang, you start on the foot and end on the hand. Of course you can. Now let's see. The extraordinary vessels are easy to do in self-care because it's always the foot or the hand. So that might be something to remember for the future, that it's very difficult to do the heart meridian. I can do this. This is Shasheta and Jehuti. Jehuti, or Mercury, is associated with Virgo exfolia. So that's why I chose these 2 books. And then the opposite thing we have going on is with Ra and Set. So we're hoping that our intention is that we're able to conquer our ego and yet still be able to use our ego to protect our creativity and to guide us, and also to defeat apex. That is our intention right now. For myself, my family, my community, my nation, and the entire planet. That is my intention right now. Alright, and then the other meridian, the yin way. Oh my book is falling apart. The yin way external vessels on the inside of the hand and the inside of the foot. Yeah, these are my notes. The Chang is the grandparent-grandchild meridian, so like things that affect our grandparents or ancestors that creates a block in us. We can remove the block in us. It can help, remove those blocks. Or it might be something that it's like a cellular imprinting. Something happens to our ancestors that's in our system. This is the extraordinary vessel used to eliminate that. And then the yin way has to do with the heart protection, the heart, the inner gate, helps to unwrap the heart chakra. If you have bitterness or trauma that's left unresolved in the heart, it gets less and less able to express itself. It's called the Grinch Stole Christmas. Survival mechanism for abuse. So obviously that's why we chose this one for PTSS. So, the heart. I'm going to go back to Ta-Earth and Hetaru for the Earth and Venus, Apis. So I'm going to do I can do the opposite side or the same side. Since the first point started on the foot, we have the option of repeating that same side or switching the other side. So I'm going to do a pendulum reading. I'm going to do the same side. I'm in trouble. Let me repeat my question. Is it in my highest interest to do the same side for the extraordinary vessel? Should I do the opposite side? I don't know if you can see it. It's barely moving. But I'm going to go ahead and do the opposite side. I've been checking in with my pendulum and asking the higher self, like a lot more than usual. Like I'm making it my practice to ask, should I have blackberries or blueberries, whatever. So it's just helping me get closer in tune to my higher self, even though I'm using a crystal. The crystal is picking up on my energy and not letting my ego, take over. Okay, so the inside of the hand, we're going to start on the opposite. So since the first time I had my left foot and my right hand, this time I'm going to use this is why I was confusing, my right hand. I'm going to use my left hand and my right foot. That's why I was confusing, because it's almost the same. But I'm going to switch sides completely. Use my right hand with my left foot. Okay? That's why it was a little complicated. Switch my foot. With the extraordinary vessels, there's so many different combinations. It can be overwhelming, but we don't let it do that. I'm trying to get a better view of my foot, but anyway. Okay, so I'm going to put it on my right hand first, and then on inside of my left foot. Let's see if I can get. Okay, that's fine. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you should sign up for the KemeTones Level 1 class coming up in January in Jamaica, where we go over the extraordinary vessels, and you get access to information where you can learn more about them. like I said, Chinese medicine, acupuncturists, they do not use these extraordinary vessels very much because they don't apply to a physical organ. But that doesn't mean that they're no longer useful as allies. It just means you can't point to the organ. Yeah, so that's about the heart. And then I'm going to go with this for the heart with Ra and Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. And the Chiron core comes in the Acutonic self-care kit. Not the big one like this, but it's the medium-sized one. Chiron is the wounded healer. It's about how, you know, we can help everybody else, but we don't take time to help ourselves. And that's why the self-care series came about. And that's what self-care is all about. So we make the time and take the time to take care of ourselves. And my goal, every Tuesday morning I'm supposed to do something self-care for myself. And today I did absolutely nothing. And you can tell if you look at the rest of my day. Okay, so I'm going to start on the left hand, on the right hand, then the left. And this is the Yin Wei Extraordinary Vessel. All right. And now the favorite part is the high frequency part. My favorite part. I have a whole bunch of them out here. Let's just see what happens. Have Mercury. I usually do that. See here. Oh, there we go. Oh, as fast as I like. There. Okay. So the high frequency quarks are used in the energy field, and I don't know if you noticed, but I usually have when the forks are coming up, it's to remove blocks, and when the forks are coming down, it's to create and manifest. So that's how the energy spiral goes. When it goes counterclockwise up to remove blocks, and clockwise down to create. So that's how I've been working it for a while now. So I'm just going to choose some of these. These quarks. And push it back. You can do different motions, just breaking things up, and then the little twirly for manifesting. I like to visualize streams of light coming all around. And then open it up. And then for the energy to you. And then we have and it's a middle sun. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's have these a good one. So we have Ra that's entered into Venus. We have Ra entered into Hephaestus or Apis. And creativity and the beauty path. Manifest something beautiful and powerful to help us raise our esteem with accuracy and abundance and grounding and stability and security, and to always find the gift in every adversity, no matter what it is. There, even in slavery. Maybe by the end of this series, we will be able to see what is the gift in slavery. You can imagine what that is. And we have sex. Let's have some set actions with Chiron. See what that's about. We can heal ourselves from this affliction, the afflictions of sex. Egoism, hatred, jealousy, hypocrisy, etc. We're going to heal doubt, fears, feeling less than, negative self-talk about myself. It's just, wow, I went there today, totally. And then we have Shashata and Sahuti. Oh, what a beautiful combination. We're planting seeds for good fortune and abundance, and taking care of paperwork and accounting and filing and suing people. And of course, Mercury is still retrograde, so we're seeing the gift in that as well. Okay. All right. Okay, well, I don't know if anybody has any comments or questions. I've been just going along at it. Have any comments or questions, just stop me at any time. The next thing for us to deal with is the questions for our reflection. And her quote is, healthy esteem is a reflection of what you have contributed and the awareness of your contribution. So that's going to be the subject for the meditation at the end. And see, there's another. Yeah, so, but before we get to the meditation, I wanted to take a moment to talk about possibly working with me or sound healing sessions available one-on-one. I don't have anything online yet, but what I'm featuring right now is the Ascension package, which is 7 chakras in 7 sessions. And I also have Haduscope consultations available. And I'm going to be launching the Open Your Flow program. But like I said, my website is down, so everything is held up. But those are some of the ways you could, if you wanted to work with me further. We're having the KemeTones Level 1 certification retreat in January. I think it's 7th through the 16th or 8th through the 16th in Portland. And then we close out the week at the Rebel Salute Festival. And rumor has it that this year I'm definitely performing. And then this summer we're going to have the Reggae Wellness Week in Jamaica, August 1st through 10th. There'll be some workshops and concerts and possibilities for one-on-one treatment. If you don't want to come all the way to California, you might want to go to Jamaica for a treatment. And then also it's possible for me to come to you. If I'm traveling, we can arrange for me to meet you where you are. So those are just some of the things that are happening with KemeTones and Haduscope. So here is a beautiful picture of a pond and the questions, and then we're going to have a brief moment of meditation and reflection. So the questions are, what have you contributed? And remember, this applies to your life, your family, your community, your nation. Should say nation. I guess nature and nation and the divine. Okay. And how do you feel about your contribution that you've made? And the third question she wants us to review is, what future contributions would you like to make? So I've already done a little bit reflection on this before I lead you through the guided meditation. And it's, you know, this is not something that's easy for me to do, to acknowledge things that I've done that were successful. I tend to only dwell on things that didn't work or where I failed. And it was really hard for me to admit to myself what I have contributed. And then I had to be honest with myself that I didn't feel like it was much of anything because I didn't achieve what I wanted to, or things didn't turn out the way that I wanted to. And that was for myself, my family, my community, nature, nation, and the divine. I feel like I fell short with everything. And, of course, that's not true. I didn't fall short. I did my best, and things just didn't go the way I wanted, but that didn't mean that I failed. And I think that applies to our nation as well. I mean, you think about, oh, how did we end up in slavery? Oh, we must have da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but, you know, if we look for the gift and the adversity, something amazing came out of it. I mean, I can think of a lot of terrible things that we endured, but something powerful did come of it. And I don't think that we feel good about it. You know, it says, how do you feel about your contribution? I don't think we feel good about it. I mean, you know, we're proud of the accomplishments, but even then, we haven't figured it out, how to get out of this mess. You know, all the people that have died, et cetera, et cetera. And so it was a really difficult question for me to answer, honestly. And I have to remember that just because I don't like the way things are, obviously that's the way they're meant to be. And the best thing I can do is change my perspective. And once I change my perspective, I can shift the energy. And once I shift the energy, then I can do something about it. And that is pretty much what my journey has, that's where it's taken me to. So what future contributions would I like to make? I really would like to see something come of these protocols for sound healing and dealing with this post-traumatic slave syndrome, because whatever it is that's going to, quote-unquote, heal us from this, it's not going to be something that people already know about. It's going to be something, quote-unquote, out of this world. And I would like to make a contribution of effecting a positive, lasting change through my music and sound healing. That's really the contribution I would like to make to myself, my family, my community, to nature, my nation, and to the divine, that we'd be able to see this shift. And then the last question for the reflection of the meditation. How can the self-esteem of our this is my question. How can the self-esteem of our black nation be so low when we have contributed so much? Those are the questions. I don't know if anybody wants to have a discussion on that right now before we go into the meditative reflection, or we can, you know, have a discussion in the Facebook discussion group. But that's the question I'm really focusing on, is how can the self-esteem of our black nation be so low when we have contributed so much? Because these are questions that when we go into the meditative state, we are going to ask our higher self. Like I already told you the questions, so you're probably already thinking about it. But when you go into the meditative state, you're going to be asking your higher self, and then, you know, it's your choice to share with us the answer that you have received. You can share it here in the webinar, or you could email me privately, or you could share it in the discussion group. Okay, so those are the questions. And I don't see anything in the chat room, and I didn't mute anyone, so if anyone wants to speak out, you should be able to speak. Okay, someone has made a comment. Through an international schematic plan by the oppressive powers to delude the black nation of their strength. Ah, right. brainwashing. That is how the self-esteem of our Black nation can be so low when we have contributed so much. So that takes us to the other. I didn't put that on here. Thank you for that comment. That reminded me. The other half of the reflection is the awareness of your contribution. I left that off. So that's, that's not even a question. That's just an awareness. And I would have to say, honestly, that my awareness of my contribution is not that great because I'm so focused on, or in the past, I was so focused on the next thing, the next bill, the next trip, the next, whatever. If I was to actually just remain in awareness of my contributions, or if we as a nation remained in awareness of our contribution, we could raise our self-esteem. So then that would be the next question. How do we raise our awareness of our contribution? How can we? Contributions. So, what is that, Black History Month? Oh gosh, I missed it. It's already May. That means I can't raise my awareness of contributions until next year. Ha ha ha. It's a joke. Okay. Well, I don't know, because it seems like once our, and I'm speaking for like everything that we've done musically or artistically, because I'm a musician and an artist, but everything that our people have contributed in the music, the arts, theater, the oppressors have not only blocked our ability to succeed, but they've overtaken and now are given full credit for it. So, that is a very interesting topic as well, Dr. Joy. How can we raise the awareness of our contributions when the oppressor is waiting to gobble it up as soon as we get it out there? So, well, we'll see what comes up during our reflection. Okay, so let me get my crystal pyramid that I've gotten so fond of. And I'm going to light some more incense because the first piece burned out already. And this is sandalwood incense that I'm burning. Ooh! I need a better incense holder. There we go. I think it's really, quote-unquote, interesting or a coincidence that when both Michael Jackson and Prince got a hold of their own music, they mysteriously died. I mean, how, raising awareness of your contributions, if you can't have the rights to your own music, I mean, come on. But that goes back to the comment by Rhonda about the oppressors having control over everything. Well, we gave them control somehow along the way. Okay, well, anyway, we are going to enter into our meditation, and I apologize for my dogs. Just know that that is on Pooh, removing obstacles to our success in our spiritual practice. All right. So I invite you to get into a comfortable seated position, either in a chair with your feet firmly on the ground, or on the floor in the lotus posture with your legs crossed, keeping your back straight. And I invite you to take a good look at this beautiful pond, reflecting pond with the water so clear and pure, and it's a perfect reflection of the landscape around it. It's like it almost looks like it's not water. It's just another mountain and trees with a blue sky. But it's a reflection in the pond. So I invite you to gently close your eyes. And in your mind's eye, see the pond or see another reflecting pool, maybe outside of one of the pyramids, or some reflecting water. All right, now inhale slowly and deeply and allow your abdominal area to expand. Inhale, filling your lungs, expanding your chest, all the way to the crown chakra. Hold it for a moment. And exhale, allowing the abdominal area to collapse until it's almost touching your spine. And now another deep inhalation. The breath of Hetaru is filling you with vitality and replenishing you with positivity. And exhale, releasing all the toxins, negativity, doubts, and fears. I return to normal breathing. All right, so you're seated somewhere looking at a pond. You're close enough to the pond so that when you look into the pond, you can see your own reflection. You see your reflection there. Just peaceful and smiling, pleasantly smiling. And in your next inhalation, I invite you to visualize the moment of a great accomplishment in your life's journey. And as you exhale, try to recapture how you felt at that moment. Again, inhale and visualize yourself at the moment of an accomplishment. It can be past when you were in youth, it can be present. And again, as you exhale, revisit the feeling, the peace, the power, the confidence, the success. Just let the feeling stay with you until the vibration is filling the entire room. Now I invite you to revisit a moment in history during the civil rights movement, where people were marching, being attacked with dogs, water hoses. And look into the pond, and in the background, maybe you can see, like you've seen video footage of this very instant I'm describing to you. So look into the pond, and you can see the reflection of that moment in history, all the struggles, all the heartbreaks, all the lies and betrayals. Now visualize the moment in history. There's so many. For example, when Rosa Parks rode the bus, or when we got quote-unquote permission to eat at the lunch counter, or when we got the right to use the water fountains as everybody else. And your mind's eye in the pond, see those images floating through, like you're looking at a newsreel. You can see these times in history that I'm describing, because you've seen it hundreds of times. Yes, we did have those victories, but how do you feel about these contributions? Did they really bring about change? Positive, lasting change? How do you feel about it? Let's just spend a moment with the feeling, how we feel about those contributions. And allow that feeling to fill the entire room. It may not be a very pleasant feeling, or maybe you're very satisfied with those achievements and contributions. Whatever your feeling is, just let it permeate you and fill every corner of the room. In the pond, you can see these images reflecting behind you. Your ancestors going through so much so that you could drink at the water fountain. How does it really feel? And then, of course, the election of President Obama. Look into the pond and see Obama's victory speech. Can you see Obama and Michelle and his two daughters walking out onto the stage? So much hope and promise. Inhale all that hope. All those campaign ads, photographs. See all of that in the pond behind you. And as you exhale, tap into the feeling of how you really feel about this achievement, this contribution of our nation, electing a black president, the contributions and all the efforts of the Obama family. How do you feel about this? If there's even a trace of a negativity or a doubt or ego or, makes you feel a certain way, then that means there's a block, right? I know I'm feeling a block because I'm feeling a certain way. So we just have to sit with that feeling for a while, just for a few more moments. It's like an attachment to the outcome. I release attachment to the outcome. I release and let go of any disappointments. I release the feeling of not feeling good enough, or that we didn't do enough. I release and let go of feelings, lingering feelings for people who have betrayed or traitors. I release and let go of any resentments towards the oppressors, because even they are playing a role. Inhale the reflection of the images in the pond, and exhale and let go of any negativity, any doubts, any afflictions of set. Let it go. There's no room for it in this space. It's a gift in every adversity, and we just haven't seen it yet. So now we're going to see in the pond, in our reflection in the pond, what future contributions we would like to see. So just take a moment to inhale deeply, and as you exhale, in your mind's eye, visualize the future contributions that you would like to make, or the future accomplishments you would like to see. And allow that vision to permeate your consciousness. And now, how do you feel about this vision? What will it take to manifest this vision? In the pond, in the reflection of the pond, what would you like to see? What would you like to contribute? What would you like to see the nation accomplish? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to make this vision a reality? Now, for this next portion of the meditation, we're going to connect with your higher self. I am connected to the divine, connected to my higher self. I put my trust in my higher self. Now I invite you to ask this question to your higher self. The stillness, you can say it out loud, you can say it to yourself, you can repeat after me, but you're going to ask yourself the question and then wait for the answer. There's no hurry, there's no rushing, there's no agenda, just waiting for a response from our higher self. If you can, maybe you're not going to get an answer right away. You can revisit this question later on. How can the self-esteem of our Black nation be so low when we have contributed so much? What can we do to raise the awareness of our contributions? I'm going to say it again and repeat after me. How can the self-esteem of our Black nation be so low when we have contributed so much? How can we raise awareness of our contributions? I invite you to look into the pond in your mind's eye and wait until you see the reflection or until you get an answer. Just have a moment of silent reflection. Peace, 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 peace. Well, I invite you to share whatever came up for you during that moment of reflection on our contribution and our awareness of our contributions. And what came for me is some sort of program dealing with these sounds, with more sounds. So I'm just going to keep doing this work. And I will be here next week with Sankofa step number 6. I apologize, I haven't posted the replays. I had a lot of Wi-Fi challenges when I was traveling. And I will be catching up on posting the replays this week. And once again, I thank you for being here with me, with us. The ancestors are here too. And if you have any questions, I'll be here on the call for a few more moments. Otherwise, I'll see you at the KemeTones Rec-Ab study group. Again, thank you very much. Oh, looks like there's another comment. Eliminate the distractions. I'm with you on that. I'll see Rhonda. Well, then we're going to come up with a sound meditation, MP3 kind of thing to help people eliminate distractions. Something like that. Thank you for your comment. And I will somehow incorporate your comments into my my plans for the protocols, for the healing protocols. Like I said, I will be here next week. I hope you'll join me next week. I hope you got something from this session. I know I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better from when I first started. In fact, I almost canceled because I still had a headache and I was really stressed. But I needed self-care and I needed to do this work anyway. I needed to look up the charts and everything. So I will see you next week, hopefully. And if you have any calls or questions or concerns, you know how to connect with me online. My phone number is 707-972-6831. You can call me. It's posted everywhere. Thanks again for joining us, and hatap. Oh, hatap, hatap, hatap. Dua for being here. Ankh Uja Seneb, life, vitality, and health.